Good morning. It's my great honor to provide a brief introduction to His Eminence Khensur Rinpoche, Konchok Pasang. Khensur Rinpoche is, as you can see, one of the elder generation of monks at this monastery. He was the abbot of the monastery for 6 years in 1990s. Rinpoche was born in eastern Tibet in Kham region. At a very young age, attended the monastery in Drepung, and as the other older generation teachers here, he also had to leave Tibet in 1959 as the result of takeover of Tibet by Chinese communist forces. Upon arriving in India, Rinpoche was one of the a handful of younger monks who, upon completing their coursework for Geshe exams, was selected to train as a teacher, the Buddhist teacher for Tibetan students in schools. In the 60s, with the help of Indian government, His Holiness the Dalai Lama established what's known as the Tibetan Central School for Tibetan Children. Those were the schools established for the children, the refugee children, to provide modern education. And a handful of monks, including one of my main teachers, who was the founder of the IBD, Institute of Buddhist Realities, and Ramthala, they were selected to go through the training, and then they served very, very important role in schools, not only teaching about Buddhism, but most importantly about also the how to conduct oneself in life. So that generation of students, who had the good fortune of training under the great masters like them, it's a totally different, the way that you see how they serve in the community, and these are the people that who have really preserved Tibetan culture and in many ways. So Khensur Rinpoche was an important kind of part of the preservation of Tibetan culture and imparting of that the very way of kind of the Tibetan Buddhist living to the young generation then. And then in the 90s, as I mentioned, His Holiness the Dalai Lama appointed Khensur Rinpoche as the abbot of Drepung Losel Monastery, and he served as the monastery abbot. In 1998, when Drepung Losel and Emory University entered into this formal affiliation, academic affiliation, actually that was very much made possible by Khensur Rinpoche, but then as the abbot, the Khensur Rinpoche of the monastery. It's through the kindness of Khensur Rinpoche that our center in Atlanta is where it is today. Our connection to Emory, that is the really as a source of many of the programs that we are able to offer today to fulfill His Holiness's this far-reaching vision for either bringing modern science to the Buddhist monasteries, or now to develop and implement the C learning, this social, emotional, and ethical learning, or the education of the heart and mind. These are made possible by that initial affiliation that was established in 1998, and from 1994, Khensur Rinpoche, then Khensur Rinpoche, of course, was instrumental. Actually, I had to reach out to Khensur Rinpoche, then to to help us invite His Holiness to Emory for the commencement of Emory's, Emory's commencement, and then also that we can also have the affiliation inaugurated by His Holiness. And it's through Khensur Rinpoche's persistence and His Holiness was able to, we were able to schedule His Holiness to come. So, for me personally, when I look back, at kind of the little bit of the work, we were able to do through the Emory and Drepung Losel Ling Atlanta. Through that, it's very much thanks to Khensur Rinpoche, and throughout, Khensur Rinpoche has been one of the most kind of steadfast supporters of His Holiness's kind of vision to bring modern science and the convergence of science and spirituality. It's not easy to bring something new to a whole education system. It's thanks to the elder leaders like Khensur Rinpoche, that who had no doubt whatsoever, but to provide full support. Monasteries like this were able to implement modern science, embrace modern science as part of the education. And now, that now it's not an issue at all. That now it's. But in the beginning, of course, people had reservations. That not knowing that what would that mean? Would it undermine the very, kind of the studies of the Buddhist tradition here or not? But having the leaders like Khensur Rinpoche made all the difference. So we owe Khensur Rinpoche and great, that gratitude of, and Khensur Rinpoche is in his 80s. That see how healthy he is. That it's he is someone who is a real inspiration for this community. That as the elder leader, the teacher here at the monastery. So I feel it really particularly privileged to have Khensur Rinpoche share some time with you. Khensur Rinpoche wants to say a little bit about the practice of love and compassion and bodhicitta, but really wants to kind of dedicate the time for question and answer. I requested Khensur Rinpoche that if we can have more time for question and answers, because we will benefit from having an opportunity to clarify some of the questions that we may have.
장지 제다 장축 생 코너 비좀도 쓰네. 시에서는 가나가도 안에데 돌어. 지지바지 슈투게 말에 지부기라이가 아니 에데 라디오 소다는 버지 디디지만도 쓰시고요. 어때지? 장지 제다 장축 생 베기 저를 잡아라. 토마베 단용에 봐도 그게 하래. 어때지? 아니 애들이 고 토마토디 단용장 동답을 찍는 도서봐 도망고 주고요. 제단 로아 용조 대완데 동네 면대바 제송세때 대와 두마시와체 동네 저샤다 돈 도선데니 거든들이 케고요래. 다든데디 장니제다 장축을 센터스로 티원로분들의 제투나 하는 하나서 야진로부터 강토든도 가버려 엔겐도 돌으시고요. 어때지? 당용공 당다라야 매 다레스는 알아서 다른 거 제시시고요. 다생의 컨텐츠 세계에서 대pe 소설을 찾아봐이나 바조 메디게 베게 르마 예순 강이 토네 배 즈미 퉁이 줘봐 때문에들라 다세게 열다 데 다레세게 열 줘봐 때니게 메데 코라랑이 제어를 배서나 코라랑이 제어 말해 메데 베게 르마 예순 트라프 줘봐 때니게 남부 소음네데 나라 저 단제 생겼지 이거래 단제다 해당니들이 초디지 메들 그마땅 메들 때 대요를 심었다 그 요번하게 심었다 그마땅에는 알아서 나 선이 랑슈기 배 나제 알아서 저 두자리다 쓰던 랑장롱랑 초초제 나 선생 나서 소소그 절리베 단제 생기 로드레 되게 제제니 해당 내용을 차도 내용을 차도 내용도 가라 되게 줄이 옆에 매대 되게 대원 요벌 심었다 대요를 심 아니 그러면 무슨 내용도 그래 제게 소대 가래 되게 단제당 해당이들이 나라서 두스 매대 통화되가도 로르마 마테어제 메디테는 나제 소소로르 마테게 메치두스 레와테가 카둔 로마토아제 랑가 주구야 제기도아 데 제오디 메코라 다소샤 메코라 다마소아제 그 메샹에도 소레 그거 단제당 해당니들이 사교야 말해 야그 카멘도아 생애 강가데 단제다 해당니들이 도와서 성우도 메도도 저 출래요래 다데 피길로 단제다 해당니가 돌로 산타는 데가 메드테 저 수들래요래 수들래요 디가라 패체 당뇨는 레도 지겨래 배나 지시 셔와라게 송질로 유발라서 무그때 그때 팬발라 ton하 대야 해당기 베비 니스 해당라 토리스 다들 지시 셔와라게 당뇨 공당이나라 저바 공당이나라 치테레 나라선도 세 미니들이 따와 마타베 거들라 메디기 주파주 코네 파시가 있는 수시가 있는 거와 내가 파시가 뭐 동동 파시나 수사기 메들 루랑거와 메들 디만수나 탱거와 때 말이야 아스 주파시네게 메데게 그마땅에도 소리엔도스 단제가 해당되게 샤요 말이에스 그 유파들 두셔 강힘마도 메자네데 카르에스 되게 단제데 해당니데 제 상우드 다데 테리타 테리에스데 나제 나도 디데지그 공시도 두시체 땅투나 메들레 왔다가들 그 카멘도 아산데 메들레 오디가 패치 라바 두스 라바 땅리 제 투그레 근데 산에 땅 마투나 라바 땅리 제 투그 말을 랑가 유기시그레 딱그 카멘도 그 단어들이 단제 땅 해당되게 샤면도 와서 때 투로 제대 가라 그 랑자 메들나 라바 땅에 도버 차투 그래 나라서 당용 공통대 때에 저바 공통대 때 지금 토로 송샤 니지 아니 나라서 제초는 되게 인사들 근데 제 산의 땅 투나 태비 땡데 다르거든 메들 투한테가 소소로 테메텔 해와데 그 카메라 상태도 간 패치 라바땅 투고도와 어디 나라서 당뇨 공부연한다 저바 공부연한다 나중 가서 뱀이 째소는 대교연한다 근데 지금 토로 상이 땅 투는 채비 때문에 뱀도 때문에 용무 여비설인도 어때래 대체데 당에 대기피기 저방에 봐 정해들 그거 저로 단세당 샤당이 마샤바레 상우드 메테 다야 말에 nye 말에 바만의 샤용어래 당용용 땅 때래 지지 당연하죠. 마시 전에 장축의 생기 제와라 토마 당용 마공파 요야요 말에 어디 되게 조질 되게 다그토로 뭔가 시단데 두시진 시도네 하면 로상 제제 당연하죠. 녀세야죠. 녀데 두세제도가 매드베 녀세 자침부 해보인 알베 가르 침부 해보인선 두서 상의 땅데 해보지 쓰게거다 매드 소소 파상 땅 쓰게 제두가라 그 야부 쓰게도 소리 다두가라 되샤드레 소소 그 지금 되샤드게 샤셔 매드 때나게 녀시라 자침부 게 말에 그야 빠만은 땅 두고를 되줘야데 가게 그 좀으로서도 되게 소소근 되샤슈 제보 온기 해보지 아버지 앞에 마세 아버지 상을 되샤고 써샤리 마도 되게 유대 밤만은 땅 투고로 상는데 내게 지금 되샤되게 마샤 레도 마도 그때라 레멘도 왔으면 니에대야 밤만은 땅에 덮시데 내게 지금 도로 상 땅들 가나 배도 용비 손에지 야래 어디제도 땅용 공동데 내게 지금 도로 상는 땅이 로데기 제 땅을 도로 만디바 로데기 마샤바 산의 땅샤 되가라 피기기 유를 간사때 밤만은 샤토거를 근데 이들가는 세제 타지 다야마이바 녀야마이바 산이 이제 미니 땅도 그거래 대마다나 장진지 장축을 센세야디 용토요 말해서 어떤데 지제네 가르쳐 그래 가르쳐 그래 땅용 공동답인데 되지 땅용 공도 간래 맞아 땅용 공동들 다그토로 되게 단다데 간사다 많이 받지 되게 저러 단제 땅 샤당니 디임바도 지금 제 투도 간라 안에 간사데 밤만 샤운 거래 녀제는 대샤되게 희부지 이상 된데만 간사데 때다 개이 말해 녀 말에 소소 대샤 왕기 그 야부 희부지 이상 된다 소소산다는 대샤가 마샤로와 마도 그들랑 말해 와서 된투나 밤만 샤투고 요래 간다 생전 당전도 서산에 땅 다레 내레서 무거워져 밤만 돌 샤야가 터시지 제투나 아니 네 가르쳐 그래 단용 공동을 돌을 다 템비지 도스니 요야가 라와는지 단당에 되게 준주를 논동해야 되라 저바 공동을 돌에 풍도 도스 송샤 저바 공동 돌 팽하게 또 송샤대 대야 단용 공동 누구도 팽도와 되는지를 아니
First of all, my greetings to all of you, and I was asked today to come and say a little bit about compassion and love and bodhicitta. Even though I can't claim to have a very extensive knowledge and profound experience in this field, but I have dedicated my life to try to cultivate and understand, learn these very values. So I hope that what I share may have some benefit to you, some purpose, and it may serve some benefit. Now, what I'd like to do is to just, instead of sharing just how, intellectually how these things work and so forth, I try to explain, from a little bit of how my own personal experience, how I engage in these practices. So for me, when it comes to cultivating love and compassion, particularly when you think about the love and compassion for the greater number of beings, it really, the first step is the impartiality, the equanimity, the impartiality. And that's it. Without the cultivating impartiality, to expend one's compassion and love for greater number of beings would be very difficult. But how do we go about developing impartiality. What is meant by impartiality? Like this. So, in general, when we think about the impartiality or the equanimity, has to do with the recognition that all beings want to be happy and that they want to be free from suffering. It's just like us. That is the kind of at the heart of this cultivating the equanimity or the impartiality or the inclusiveness has to do with the accepting deeply that each and every living being has the same deep desire for well-being and to avoid suffering. Now, in reality, as you cultivate the impartiality, the way that I see this is, you really have to see that how we relate to people in our day-to-day life. It becomes very obvious that there are certain categories of people that we see them as our adversaries, our enemies, people who really annoy us because of their behavior, whether that what they say, what they do physically, or that what kind of values they uphold when they don't agree with us, or when they see such behaviors of body, speech, and mind of a certain individual is so disagreeable with oneself. That's where we feel very kind of negative about this person, and it becomes kind of that person becomes very intolerable. We cannot tolerate this person, because of the behaviors of body, speech, and mind that we don't agree with the person. For me, what I see it has been very helpful is to really try to see where this person is coming from, that why this person is behaving the way that he or she is behaving, that destructively, and mean, or with the actions that we see that as negative or destructive. Why this person is acting like that. It's clear that such a person, when a person acts with harmful way towards others, obviously, first of all, this person, such harmful behavior is a reflection of a certain, rough or the harmful attitudes, like such as hatred or the anger. If the person is, under the siege of anger, is under the control of anger, influence of anger, that's what will lead the person to act destructively. But anger itself further is rooted in the self-grasping, that grasping to the I as a very kind of concrete and the very precious sort of the center of the universe, that has an excessive focus on the me or the I. That's so this self-grasping and the anger or the hatred. These are you can see that how these kind of attitudes will compel a person to act harmfully through speech, through body, through attitudes, and so forth. So what is important is to really see that this person is helpless, that this person is compelled by these attitudes. If you can think in this way, that if you don't think in this way, if you just think that this person is negative in itself, like that, then obviously we become very intolerant about this person. Even a sight of this person will disgust us, and like that we don't want to see this person. Just that it becomes so intolerable. But if you think that this person is compelled by this inner, emotions to do that, then you have a room to separate the actor from the action. That you can see that person himself or herself is like a serpent. It's by kind of compelled by these inner toxins, and that step, kind of this distinguishing the actor from the action, the agent from the act, what he or she is doing, is a very, very important step. It seems the Shantideva in his Bodhicharya Avtara also articulates this so beautifully, that at some point that is, as Shantideva engages in this kind of reflection, he speaks of that when if someone who hits you with a stick, and then we obviously get really angry at the person, right? So Shantideva asks that, the kind of hurt is from the contact of the stick. Why not angry at the stick instead of being angry at the person, like that? And so the hypothetical response from the person would be that it's the person who intends to hurt you. The stick itself has no intention to hurt you. It's the person himself. And then, if that is the case, then Shantideva says that take it a step further. Isn't this person, these toxic emotions, that that person's insecurities and or the anger or this kind of this self-grasping and so forth, aren't they the one that is kind of compelling this person to engage in such action that hurts us? Shouldn't you be angry at this person's anger and the self-grasping or those unhealthy attitudes instead of the person? This person is like a stick that has been utilized by those unhealthy emotions. If you really want to be angry, you should be angry at the afflicted emotions, not the action. Or so that's exactly what the idea here is, that through careful reflection of this, in this way, you will come to a point where your kind of this heat of anger will begin to subside, to calm. That you may even feel like when you see this person to want to approach and even to shake his hand or her hand, there is that kind of the friendliness that will come. But if we simply take those people whose behaviors we don't agree with, like just simply make that it's the core of this person, is the negative, like that. Then it would, of course, it will repel. It will kind of repulse us. It will make us angry and so forth. So distinguishing the actor from the action by way of understanding that our person himself or herself is compelled by those, ignorance in the sense of self-grasping, as well as the anger and so forth and so on. This is, by the way, it's the same thing that when you think about cultivating patience, the forgiveness, the forgiving someone whose behaviors have hurt us, or whose behaviors we don't agree with, or whose behaviors have hurt our loved ones, and like that. That again, that if we bring this perspective about this person's behaviors, then we will be able to have the forgiveness. We will be able to forgive the person, not the action, not the person's behavior, but the person we can forgive. And this kind of, in this way, when you think about impartiality, to kind of this extreme, that impartiality has to do with, not to remain in this kind of, with extreme, likes and dislikes. So obviously those whose behaviors we don't agree, we tend to kind of, have these extreme forms of anger or dislike and so forth. Through these reflections, when your dislike or aversion, anger, hatred for this person becomes calm, it becomes more level, more even, like that. So that extreme anger can be, made less, when it is reduced, that kind of our tendency to have this anger is reduced. Then we can see that how this could have benefits socially also, right? In a society, that if the people, have more of a tendency to kind of not be stuck in these extreme forms of anger with people or the number of people, they will promote well-being. As social animals, as social beings, we need more of a sense of this friendliness and not the extreme angers and so forth. Now, so that's one way to do that. But on the other extreme is this kind of excessive loyalty, if you will, excessive attachment to one's side. That's the other one. So we can also end up having excessive kind of attachment towards our own relatives or the friends and the family members. Not that the love and the caring is a problem, but when it is excessive, when it is biased kind of form of the attachment for one's loved ones, the way it appears that just at any cost, that this person, should have everything he or she wants, that this is a result of a kind of strong attachment, that this strong kind of, attachment towards the person, and that such a strong attachment also makes us blind, blind towards the needs of others. It prevents us in seeing the needs of others. It kind of focuses our attention on those who we hold with excessive attachment, and in that way it hinders our capacity to be inclusive, to see others' needs as well. So the idea here of the impartiality is to both excessive kind of loyalty or attachment and excessive dislike or hatred. We need to bring down both of those. When you think about the excessive attachment for the someone like that, you have to again, not that you don't want to recognize that they want to be happy and so forth, but what you need to see is that learn to see the other person, regardless of whether that person is your friend or the family member or not, that on the basis of the desire to be happy and to free from suffering that person has, we want to kind of recognize or have that respect for the other person, and even our friend and family member, to respect their right to be happy on the basis, on the grounds of that this person has a wish to be happy and so forth, instead of he or she is my son or my daughter or the cousin or the family members and so forth. So that is what is important. In reality, to kind of categorizing living beings in such strong kind of solid categories of my enemies and my loved ones, and just kind of in the extreme forms would basically kind of blind us from seeing the needs of all, having the respect for all, to have happiness and to be free from suffering. Their rights to be happy and for free from suffering.
Oh yeah. 다음에는 다음은 유지는 좀 저기 말아서 지 다다니에 써야 돼. 말아서 제촌은 용기한 발로 지래. 쇼게 로보제 gonda 다리네체. gonda 다리 산이네 레닝에 대면 가서 통치수 도세요래. 나는 이제 그 펜서트에 다가래. 배나 가서 텐토라래. 자가도서 단데 우르서도 로보래. 다리선이 아메리카도 로보시게 양가디다 다리에게면데 흰게 말이. 제거 나pense 때가 지금 거래. 제 손에는 라면도 용거래. 어떤다리. Then I get a little Katayana singing the Tabe, Jagabe, Kidu, Sanjimacho, Chimbuchi, and Degipe, Kalona, Ning, Chicken Nala, who in the day Sungsha. Messagela, Babaji, Amachi, Posun Yore, Boyores, Sun Yores. There's Teche, Amateche, Baba de Teche, Poches and Dosun Yores. Yodicana. Mesajendagi mechiyores. Medige amadelo lobacheberes. Lobache dikala baba dige tadoche ne debu yungmarwa mayuza deta tini jorishe ni pajo medige baba seberes. Baba se ne koransu yosaga kombatige jololo chuchi yosare. Baba de nyal chendiyores. Then, knowledge in the Dikala, Buddha Nyatsu Juni, Patsun, Sandi Dikala, Amade, Shen, Chilchin the Hores. Chilchin the Nyagi, Sayatra, Rewa, Joe, and the Tichin the Dikala. Then, Buddha get the Nyas, Papa Rosegurata, Nyadam, Papa Nyadicha, Nyaga Rode Pudik Sagi Yore. Amadi Chelchendi Yore, Shar Rewande Jondi, then Pudik and Dello, Sotan Yore, Kajutan, Pa Juice and the Logo, Kura Amal Logo, the Kingi Omareta, Himarawate. Jezan Pasha Sahi Mala Sauce. Pasha Sahi Sagi Sangin there is Mala Sauce and Sotan and the Kajutan and the Sigari. Tomar is Pasha Sahi Malas. Taru do Pantan answer. Koropaba saying a medige, Jawan, Korago, Douj Jemijorova, what did Jawan Tige Mede, Korang Pug Chen Panka land here is, or did it. Pasha Sahi Mala, so Taru do Pantan, Chome Chui, but Chome Chui Ribas, Chumas Amadege, Ribasa the Tola Chadre, Chome Chui. Kui Chula came doors and another Jitegi Chashatala, Chuka, Yomares, a Kagine, carried Darigri, Sayatana Kunde, Dana Robecata and get the Drum Sotan Sumsha, or Titi, Dana de Tanu Casagri, Rashagi, and Tatanu Shoguto Mashiri. Seja Kanga de Chanaboja Mazona, the Dare, the Nere, Neil Gabachiger Mato, Dollar Gabachig Marawa, what the nature du Kala, Ani Mashi Gonga Yamare. Mashi sing at the Seja Tajel Pigi, Managing Dushi Jawaj, Toshi Chegugare, Kanga Managi Tangugur. Then Yeta, the Dasso Shatikala, Taja Managi Chetua Yamarawa, what the day is a do, Tanu Gonga the bed, so he graduated to Then I do. Angarato Najan do such the Santa de Gala Rani Yempi Tene Kazayina, Machi Nugur Bessasona Rani Yempi Maj, Seji General, Machi Nugur Bessana, Charazal Troitan, Charazal Lekar Jogre. Maybe the chairman and you said, yeah, what does it? What the temperature you are Rani can be Jutadi Sejela, Rani Machin Gugri. Mado Rani Yemi Sejetas, Machin Musa, Dia Yomare. Tani Chadama Shishana, or does it? Raneli Jeta Debi Sejena, Soso Machi, Nunguyar. Guton Carrer said the Kanla. Rani Chawal Toma Yamare. Kadi Chaware Sidi, Kadi Chumare, Kadichi, Jiten Kadi Chavare saying, Churusi Tanatende soon to Yamare. What then I get Rani Tenebe. Door he took on the bed, Ram and the Chapchil Chawa lay herta. Lay Guya the carrier said, Rami Chawadal Toma Yamare. Toma Medi, Negitananga Giluroa, Giluga Amade, Namataba Amadal Chia Medua. Netana Amade Mechiroa, Pemejiroa, Delichayere, not then Namataba Chekimendua. Kukabakabanto say, Kanshi, na. Jawa Shanda Nagger, Mel Jawa Nagger, Tundul Jawa Nagger, Hakumare, Tundul Jawa Nesona, Amad the Tunduchi Remato, May Wamandua. What the Jawa that today, Narazo, Peche, Lo Jadan Degen, Reniri, Lo Marcha, the Nalo, the Najo, the Marcha, the Shindudua, Shindukan, Jawa Nesaki, so that the Sosuki Bigi, sent the Gala Bigi, Jawa Yapo, do to Yona. Dendrota, Megaliteta, Hata, the Chawan Yore. Nara said, David read the Likayabaji Che Matuna. Rosa de Nyawa singing Davota, Dudu singing, Dudu was a meek ton de Atare. Dudu to say, Dudu Tanegipe, Dudu in the Yashidre, Dudu Katoa singing the late Chawan, Penangaza Chelagi Tada. Kuki Likana Vishaka, your Marita. Corotology Rayadovich, Tibachi Santa, the name of the Likachon, that is to Kato, I say, to the Tartare. Do you know in a bay? Rizona Machi or Machin and Gujo Judgment Nathan de Yosari, Tindu coming about the Yore, Cheta, not the Legis Lembayina, and Nathan, the Tenagi, Yedasing and about the car secretary, Nyama passing and about the Ten Resha. Nyawa Pasadikala, Jamaica Logur, Nyawa passing a piggy, the Diana, ten shot of Matso, Mishipunda of Towns, member social secretary, the nature ten choice in Samare. Kansa so Lika Lijabiki, Chebiki, Chindi, Li, Nazal Poru Li Secretary, Lika Libiki, Lajichi in Sare. Or the negator so Tusha Lichi in Saramato, Nigi command number two shit and a chaos Samares. The leg won't get the Neva second to the Yosare, or Teche, and Yadare, or Teche, Mazo Chawadala, Damina Mubuchi Langue, Chesa, socially, Juta Debi Sejaina, Mache no Gugres. Gute, Sosa Chavala Tangyo Marawas. Sosa Chavala Tramedu, Sosa Chavala Tramedu. Namataba Soso Mari Chawa language, Langmari, Shanda language, Shanda, Chawa Tam, my Tam by Remundu, Seja Tam by your Chawa language, said Mazo Pigi, my Gutande, the Resha, then this one, my intended this one, that's a Shasha. Oh, yeah. Did the Jonah
So you can see the value of evening our feelings towards others. That evening not in a sense making it flat, but rather not having this extreme kind of hate or extreme kind of attachment to some extreme. That's what the bias is. That if you want to really have more of a sense of inclusiveness, we can't simply have excessive kind of loyalty to some and that neglect others. So we have to begin to see that whether it's our loved one or others, that each one wants to be happy and to be free from suffering, no different than ourselves. Now, it's all wonderful to think about this, but if you wonder that how can you really do that? There are enemies, in our day-to-day life. There are some people who are kind of nasty towards us. There are some people who are our loved ones, nice to us, and so forth. We hate people on the basis of what they do, and then we like on the basis of who are close to us and nice to us. If you think like that, it's valid to hate those who are not nice to us, and have this kind of deep attachment for those who are nice to us. You have here Khensur Rinpoche says that for him this reflection is really helpful. The reflection about the instability of a relationship. That's how unstable this relationship can be. Even in one day, you can see the relationship changing. Someone who was nice to you in the morning, by the afternoon, if this person did something that you would not be able to tolerate this person. The who is nice to us, who is not nice to us, is not kind of carved in stone. These are very flexible. They change. We cannot, on the basis of a specific, a single action or a single set of action, cannot hold a person just absolutely as negative. But rather, so this is again a reflection. It's a training in mind that if you think about how these kind of relationships are unstable in our individual lives, but even at the level of community and even at the level of at national levels. For example, in India right now, India have had in the past a very close relationship with Russia. Like that's very close relation, allied to Russia. But nowadays that India is developing more of a relationship with USA. You never know that this that India's relationship with change in relationship with USA might affect the relationship with Russia. That they may not be as close. So you can see that that relationships are quite temporary. They're not absolute. There's a beautiful story that illustrates this, how unstable or unreliable these relationships can be. That's not to say that relations are not good, relations are not good. It's just that we cannot hold absolute. So there was a great master known as that Arya Katyayana. During the time of the Buddha, that this was a great master, and he observes this kind of how the unreliable these samsaric relationships are. At the site of this particular site, where there is a father, there is a mother, and there is a child. The father is holding a child in his lap so endearingly. That's a precious child. This child is so precious to him. And so that is father, and then there is a dog. The next. So it's a father holding a baby, and there is a dog, sitting next to it. What the father is doing is that he's eating fish, that he had fished in the nearby lake, and then feeding also to his son very lovingly, but only the bones that they cannot eat. Yes, that needs to be discarded is thrown to the dog to eat. Upon seeing this kind of scene, he bursts into laughter and then says that for this samsaric kind of behaviors like that makes you that it has no essence, no meaning. It's so unreliable. What makes him make this statement is that because he can see the son, that he's holding so dearly, in the just previous life, in his previous life, happened to be a very deadly, the deadly enemy of his father, not the person who is holding the baby, his father, yes, so now, because this person must have some kind of relationship or something, to mistreatment towards his wife, so they got into argument and then conflict, and then this ended up killing the person who was his father was killed. So upon his death, his father was born as a fish in that pond. That. So now it's born as a fish, and the deadly enemy of his father. Well, after he died, he was born now as his son. Son. And then his mother, who had died, is now born as a dog. You see that? So just in the previous life, for this person who is holding his baby so dearly now, that this who killed his father would be deadly enemy, right? That would have such hatred for his father, of course, the great love, for his mother as well. But just in one lifetime, kind of scene is totally different. Now, that he is eating his father. Basically, that the fish was his father in the previous life, and then holding so dearly in his lap that deadly enemy, that weapon to it. Then now he's born as his son, and then only the remains they're thrown to the mother, that is the dog now. So. Kind of seeing this, it sees that how kind of unstable that these samsaric relationships are. So think about this reality, like that. It's through these reflections, it makes it easier to not just take people who are not friendly to us as kind of absolutely and forever as our enemies, and that have that hatred, or someone who is close to us, to just have this excessive attachment and like that. But if we really reflect upon how these kind of the friends and enemies are not absolute categories, they change, then it can make it easier for us to not, be so biased. So that's one thing. So this equanimity or the inclusiveness, impartiality is really the foundation for us to expand compassion for those people that we may otherwise we will not be able to have compassion for. The second step, of course, is from the Buddhist point of view, is recognizing all beings as one's mother. So the idea here is to kind of how we can relate to everyone, the most endearing manner. And the mother, is someone that we tend to relate to as with a deep sense of endearment or affection, and since for love and compassion, such endearing, relationship is so is the key. Then one way to develop this sense of endearment towards others is by recognizing all of them. All beings have been your mother, not just this life's mother. Anyone who is other than you has been your mother. So at this, Khensur Rinpoche asked, do you think that everyone, who is other than you, any other being other than you, has been your mother? Can you accept that? Yeah? No?
Here, it's harder here.
Okay. What else? Who else? Can somebody just absolutely not accept it? Does it even logically make sense? Kunangi tanda di rangli gyutha de sinja sama rangli gyutha de sinja sama suzo ma chenywa kelen sarves kandina wa de ajati ki the level name this good the chosa de sama de yiche yo the ning ne tus some thing ne
Mundgod.
kelen
Yeah. Mata tagi dara chede rani yebi ma chenu gerwe rani jyotha de ma chenu se ni sherwa rani yebi ge senjar ma chenu se kile tugmare so jawa ngama ya chyorwa del jawa ne gmarwa de yen se de te ta jyotha de se jen jawa le nungurwe sana le gugurita penang ne genda bisana ge ma che nugurwe sana ge ma che nu sungur ma ibe sana ma yi sigurma ko lo chore nga me gengoro wa ku mare se de gensho juso wa ma che nu ma yi o to si ji meni de gobashi guya che tene yes.
So of course it's not easy to kind of accept this, but from the Buddhist point of view, if you really if you see this way, that each and every being has infinite previous lives, and this life is not the only life we have, then it can become easier. And even in that case, this recognition of other beings as one's mother, meaning that beings who are, other, not just kind of that, not this me, but rather with the different, mental streams, meaning that different beings, that being who are not, who are other than us, who are of a different mental conscious stream. Every such person or being, from the Buddhist point of view, it's hard to deny that has not been your mother. For example, Khensur Rinpoche says that when Geshe Shirap, that they are of two different mental extremes. They're two different beings, basically. So you can say that he has been his mother. That he's not a mother right now. Of course, that he is much younger. That he cannot be mother, or he's also a monk. Like that. But has been mother in one lifetime or another. So the rationale for that, it's kind of certain, perspective that one, or the position, assumption, or if you're in a position that you can hold, it depends on your position. From the Buddhist point of view, this idea that an individual like us, we have many previous lives, in fact, infinite lives before there is no beginning. Not an absolute time that we can say that before this, my previous moments did not exist, and only from here that who I am as a kind of continuum started from there. We can't settle to that absolute beginning. That means that we have been recycling in various life forms, not just as human beings every lifetime, like that we in Buddhist tradition we believe, that the 6 life forms, like that. So we have taken rebirth in all these life forms many times, in all different, in all the different forms that we have taken life, and that you take for myself now as a monk, that yes, I had the mother in this lifetime, but you can say that in the previous life, it's not necessary that same person has been your mother. That in the previous life, if you were an animal, that you can see the animals have their mothers also, that they are, and of the 6 life forms, it's easy to see the animals. I mean, animals are also one kind of animals that we see, dogs and cats and so forth, birds and so forth, is one kind of, one of the, category of animals. But there are many other forms of animals that we are not even, we cannot even see. There's some very micro level of organism, or the other animals with, other kind of certain characteristics that we can't even, we don't have awareness of. But there are many animals, but you can say that those animals, they have their mothers, and like we have, and so if you think that way, then in previous lives, if I had many previous lives, you had many previous lives, everyone has many previous lives, it's impossible, for us to not have been each other's mother or father, and like that. So that's why I think that it's important. It helps. This kind of perspective helps bring a sense of that endearing sense of closeness. A word about the many life forms, that one would wonder, how could you be a human being now and in the next life an animal, or worse, as a spirit, or the hungry ghost, even as a hell being, like that, right? So that all depends on karma. That what kind of actions that we engage now. Actions are what shape, that what our future direction, and as a human beings with a certain intellect and having contact with Dharma and so forth, this is where actually quite fortunate. Many life forms don't have that kind of evolved, physiological, mechanism to kind of support higher level of consciousness or thinking and so forth. Like for example, you can see the dogs and like that. Even that where they are well fed and so forth, there's quite limited kind of the things that they can do. That you don't see them sitting, really reflecting and going through some deep transformative process, through conscious experience like that. Anyway, the idea is that there are many life forms, and then we have been born in all those life forms, and then on all different life forms we have had mothers. So it's hard to not have been each other's mothers. And the word about like this idea of the hell realm also, it's not something that you need to think the hell realm is in some specific space and like that. Like the Chinese actually that kind of ridiculing the Tibetan Buddhists, saying that where is the hell? Do you show it to us? We will kind of destroy it with our missiles. That's but that is ridiculous in itself. The hell and like that is not like that. It's a specific place. That somewhere that the physical kind of space that we can see, and then you can destroy with bombs and like that. When you think about the karmic kind of causation, karmic reality, what is real to us, what we see, it's also that the unfolding through certain karmic force, that what we see. With a different sets of karma, this same place can be totally different. Like that. we may not even see it. Those different kind of dimensions are a result of different sets of karmic causations and like that. So there's no way to say that, it's simply we cannot, they don't exist on the basis that simply we cannot see. They're not, seeing is not the evidence of their absence. So anyway, the main idea is that we have had countless rebirths from the beginning of time, others have countless rebirths, and then reflecting in this way, it really helps to have a sense that everyone has been my mother. And then when I try to embrace that, it helps me get some sense of kind of endearing, a sense of closeness with others.
This one, what is it? Tananga de Machi nung Kudeltane, at Richiche. Then Ma tension me, but the Tataka to the Leongure. Tama tension way, but the patient Nasakanga the Che. May is had the patient Amagi Piggy Juntantas by Tagitari, Amagi being yellow. Dago Shachan Diago Lucidoche, at the name David Jindala, Ami Sosu Lutan, Pugul Piggy, Sawa Tangtang, Jen, Hila Chotare, the Lojong, Rotare, Shulichi Curry, the Sokangadala, Pugul Neg Piggy, Lichi, Kanga the Pan, Sosu Kanga, Jonah, Lutan Chen, Amag the pot of the Nil David Jindia, Sojung Teresi Nangayore, Amag Hirakari. 제가 마시 세계야들로 파시 세계면도와 마가데 쳔비자 마시 센다나 다뉴슈고들 마시 용고야 저세들이 와들 마시 데네 페나 다 메게고들 미니시 네 슈무고제 다 페제 강하게 가고는데 보고마 저 사디 보고 중요걸로 저중 제당 데네 얘는 로달 땅땅 로송 땅땅 강아 베고랑 로찬네도 차상 맛이 빠돌었지 아마기 꼴리 졸리었던 내가 말아서 힌디에 들어가라래 되지. 배나 지우드서게 되는 제신도 너발로 초여서던 요래. 자파보드는 힌두만 자파보지마 땅 자파보 땅들 때는 싸게 때는 너도 주셔야 돼. 있어요도. 자충주지 자도도 있어요도. 됐어요. 코란으로 사요하지 보드 사요하지 자도도 네 초카리 가는 마모요 안다는데 대 마저나 가르쳐 그랬어요. 류용의 희동 리드가는 총자셔는 륜잔 보고 사셔도 지금 코로나 사셔도 근데 사파버지 맞으면 짠데지 맞아요 말 틀마 당셔요 초카자만 노도도는 여러 단다리 되네 아니 대노로 보고 샤는 보고 소중지는 되네 지금 배나 멜다 아장 주주면로와 자기 미싱이 있더니 지우드서게 보고로 소중지다는데 그런 거 또라고에 가게 뭐지라는 수케는 보고 갈 주행도와 대나 이제 가게 미싱이 되게 되는 제거를 메디테 아장 주면로 왔다 어때래 제가 내게 내수를 돌아가서 마시스야 지금 내단지요래 그래서 안 되겠다 알아서 배지 강가되게 내단데 신디요래 메시지 먹어야지 제가 군대가 갈로란들 배 마카데 쳔비 자르면 코로나게 용 지금 좀 피라 카데 쳔비 다들 히라 손도 도와 어떤 나지레 지빠레다 간다 카데 쳔비 다 된데 가서 마시세야 되지 등 사지지 텐테마로와 텐테마다 이제 되지 제수로와 비게 나그 사적을 비게 아마게 제다 되는 배 마제네 그런 로던데도 마시게 봐도 소중히 해야 돼. 대신부이면 강화하고 그러와. 어때? 되는 게 뭐들 가서 지우들도 전에 그 소중들이 지기도 되는 이자 대신부이마도 그게 매기 다 대신부이마다 해싱을 제싱을 마도 지우를 내리 대신면도 와. 보고 되게 아마를 배기 봐 주마 지 로봇이 한다보다 제야 돼 신기면도 다 아마 그때 제싱도 와. 그래서 바로들 다 메타 들고 버고 나이지리 어다 되어지 대처와서 되어져로와 마신 디버체 아니 대처와서 되어지 마시 Tedesra, Tedes, Dicala, Hamadus, and now you said, Aras Jiting, Lucere, Michigan, Social Big, Kange Chasaki Tolo, Napaina, Karina, Kange Chasaki told medical being turned over pay. About Nasona, I think it. Lepage law as Sansan of 10 days, Yungudua, or the 10 seconds, Yungu are here. Then I get then Naransa big Amagi piggy, the Nichi piggy Sachamo, Kadechamo, the Nichi Chayudi, Sosochi, Rotanda, the Shiz Chundukala, Amal piggy, Tunjuro of Kariguari. Call Kangan of Kariori. Kangan say, Tushi Kari Chidus, then also Lingero. Mahichi tendency at the time, the Dutch sound down tuna, and the tendency at the Tibetan, as the Mahichi, this one, tendency, and there's also the get and here the Rawa. Narasol be never chagi and Kangaji will be called the Mesodachigi, Robert Chesuna, the Jeju Omarwa. 아직 그만한 내지 가도 되는지 해서 내 이제 매니게 봐 레벨로나 마토 상상을 용어로 와 마키 텐데 대서서야 됐다래 대나 히리 팜 마게 되게지 조정 지어래 보디긴 도통데 히디카나 마강에 가지지 좋나 따서 쳐와들 명아라서 내 나사 용비 껴들어와 된다게 쉽지 쉬어야 돼 개청버리 마에 강에 시시 대카도 되래 제가 나치기 동해서야 유사주 쏘들 되게 급들어 보트서게 턴저로 매강의 샤구기요나 매대구요나 무슨 땅구기요나 소소가 내요 죽구기요나 대 제구야 될 링에 차기도 와 어때리 마시진 지소아 아니 대대의 지소아 대저대 디버다 마시 대저 지로와 내가 차가야
나는 죽을 제가 디버는 샤는데
무슨 문제? 다 가진다. 저기 제가 열어. 안 되게. 되게 또 왔다 안 돼요. 아니 근데 이제 민의 사고에서 쳐도요. 이거 말어. 그런 나셔야 돼. 대체잖아요. 나요.
It's establishing this close relationship, endearing relationship by way of recognizing all beings as mother. We can take it further by reflecting on the kindness of the mother, all the beings who have been our mother. So the prime kind of example for us is our own mothers. Or the human beings, you can see how mothers, when they have their babies in their womb, to what degree they have to kind of sacrifice their own comforts. How they have to be so careful in protecting the baby. Even to sacrificing their kind of favorite food or drinks, and that in terms of the clothing, and that what kind of things they can do, in terms of their activities and so forth, all kind of becomes geared towards protecting the fragile baby in her womb. That kind of tells, that how special this relationship between the mother and the child is. In some ways, that the mother is really that kind of the becomes also the template of that bonding that between the child and another person. It's the fathers, of course, can fulfill, but fathers did not have you in his womb. That so that level of it, that's part of kind of the baby that for 9 months became part of you in it. There's part of your growth. There's of course naturally you can see that how that bonding can be stronger in most cases, generally, I mean, that could be. And so likewise, you can reflect on the kindness in many other ways. That so these are the things that at times we think that we all know this. It's not about knowledge. It's not about knowing. It's about really embracing it deeply. Whether this becomes our kind of embodied awareness, embodied understanding, not just a kind of intellectual understanding. And for that reason, the reflection is important in many ways. How we are benefited by others, like our mother, and in the case of the mother, not just protecting us when we were in her womb, but after we were born, and raising us with all the kind of against all the difficulties, all the odds, that to protecting us, and having us go through the education, and that until we become self sufficient, or that take care of ourselves. We had to rely on our parents and the mother and the parents. So in that way, this is how you think. But in this way, you can also reflect on in many other ways how we are benefited by other beings. That like our mother. This kind of care for its babies is not only seen among human beings. Even the birds, I've seen that to what extent they go to protect this very fragile young. Like that. And there is a stream behind this science center. There is a stream, and there tend to be a lot of snakes also. Where there are streams, because there are fish, and then they want to eat fish and like that. And there are birds, so they make, but instead of making their nest in the trees there, where there are a lot of snakes around, they make their nest on the edge of this very kind of that fine, the vine, that's very fine, as thin as like this, that from the branch they kind of they'll have this a thin vine, and then at the end of this, then they make this little nest, and then they lay egg there, and then raise their babies there. Obviously, to protect from the predators, like the. So you see that to what extent they go about, kind of skewering their babies. That shows that the instinct that mothers have, that to protect. Like that, obviously we have we have that too. But one difference you might see is that when the baby birds are born and they are independent and they can fly off, it's not clear that if they really repay their kindness. When the birds, parents' birds get old or in trouble, if they go protecting them or that. But the thing is that if you reflect on the kindness of others, for example, as humans, you really reflect on this, then it makes sense that we repay their kindness. That when they are they are old, when they are in need, when they are in need of kind of protection, or they are in difficulties, then we can. It only becomes kind of the natural, or it only becomes kind of important that we do take care of them, that we repay their kindness, and which is very important in a society. Then I think the taking care of those who have been kind to us, particularly our parents when they are old, when they are old, are unable to take care of themselves, it becomes our responsibility that repay their kindness. So these are the kind of if we think about their kindness, it will become easier to repay their kindness and to attend to their needs. So anyway, because that we have only about half an hour or so, so Khensur Rinpoche says that this instead of covering the other steps for cultivating compassion and bodhicitta, you have already heard about this. He would like to open this for discussion, for your questions. Okay? Okay, so please, and you don't need to kind of focus only on this, you can ask any question.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Thank you for teaching. My question has to do with secular education for females in the refugee population. What opportunities are for the girls to go to college, or what obstacles are you working on that are keeping them from going to higher education?
More conditions. 아니 제가 다 딩도기 롭종기 고합 데 보모철에 직 다다 요래스 내가 보모 김에기리
재미도 가는 다다 요래
데 딩도기 롭종다 딩도기 롭종 근데 딩도기 롭종데 다직 김에기리라 보다 단다 라와라 아니 직 답시 가르다 뭐
어때 네 저나 시부슈기스 하마타나 요즘 말했대 다리선이 자르무치게 공시지에는 보다 보목에 비해 더 담배 지송지 대여야데 가래서 되가나 보모도 속에 때문에 나비 취소도 라바도 되는 걸 로장한테 마마 요 말했어 다리선이 배 로장제네 대나로 로장제네 중국 가병하게 될 로장제네 기시 텐데 나는 서스무스.
So thank you for that question. Yeah, of course, in the exile community, in the Tibetan exile community, the opportunity for the modern education, in schools, there's no difference, for girls and boys. There's no discrimination. There's absolutely everyone has the same access and opportunity, and it's encouraged. So there's no difference. In old Tibet, you may where the education largely focused in the monasteries, and the nunneries were far and fewer or smaller, and the academic part in old Tibet, largely centered in these big monasteries where they first pursued, like the academic course you do, like the Geshe course, right? So in old Tibet, yeah, it is true that the nuns did not have the same opportunity to pursue the kind of the religious academic programs. But thanks to His Holiness the Dalai Lama, in exile, actually that His Holiness has worked hard to introduce the same program in the nunneries as well, and as a result of that, actually, that a few years ago, now they had the first cohort of geshemas. That's the same degree as the monks can receive. The nuns are also able to receive this degree.
다들 이게 두 번씩 해야지라. 다나 안에서 길로도 기초도요래. 길로도야 되게 더 강해지고 되고요래스. 대 용단데 가려서 나라서 별로 만나러 때네 제탄지 요바만 얘기 때는 소변지 배워래. 되게 노저도 요 말해. 때네 tawa kodal tenbe penga papa ludu tawa de pigi che guyose te parudol ngaraso chi chindama na sihe rame ra momoji yo de mekanga de lepa tru ne kange momoji jungyo are ta jibuge gilu duyate yetanje yo pa ma yegi lusu di che guyose tawa de penga papa ludu tawa de che guyose jibuge pigi tembe ji che ne tada pata tenne de yores.
On the academic side, now there's the equal opportunity and accessibility for this for both male and female. But in terms of the monastic vows, it is true that in the Tibetan Buddhist tradition, there is not a lineage for ordaining female as fully ordained nuns. They can receive the novice nuns' vows, but not the fully ordained nuns' vows. But that has to do with, in the Buddhist Vinaya, which is the monastic code, there are different Vinaya lineages, and one of them, the lineages that was introduced into Tibet and became kind of the standard Vinaya tradition in Tibet is what is not called the Sarvastivada tradition. When in Tibet, this tradition was brought, and according to the monastic kind of this Vinaya code, when you ordained a fully ordained nun, you need not only the presence of monks to ordain. The ordination ceremony should consist of both nuns, fully ordained nuns, and monks. Since no fully ordained nun made it to Tibet, like that. So an ordination ceremony for fully ordained nun cannot be conducted, because it requires the presence of both the fully ordained monks and nuns. Further, in Tibet, with the early introduction of Buddhism in Tibet, where the monastic tradition also came, and also the philosophical or the kind of schools, the masters with philosophy, different philosophical leanings came. Of course, that in the early part, there could have been some kind of confusion, so to speak, that which one is the real or which one want to really follow. So there was apparently a certain kind of the council, and then upon which that the king there had kind of decreed that the Vinaya, which is the monastic, the vow lineage, that should follow Sarvastivada tradition, and that was as far as the philosophical stance, that of Nagarjuna is what we should espouse. So from that, because of that, in Tibet, never the fully ordained nuns lineage never took place. So that's why there's not a tradition of ordaining female as fully ordained nuns.
In Anitazaki, Kundi national degree Sansan Tul Chani Mamu Chumores. Rede Kinuduya de la Dumjundam Mataba, Kundil Devichu Mares. In a Tana Anig Dunjan the Pearl de Yomares. In a Taiwan about Tatanachi Nabigi Jacob Mambo, then the Tane Sushi Nani, the Net Yona, and the Duyak Tushi Sushi Nabi Cultivating.
Now, some, of course, would feel that why doesn't His Holiness just confer such ordination, full ordination for the nuns also. But the Vinaya is such that it requires an unbroken lineage. It has to be, the lineage has to be intact, unbroken. So a lineage that never took place in Tibet. So there is not a lineage for that. So it's His Holiness the Lama, of course, that he would, it would make him, happy, most happy to be able to see such a lineage, such opportunity. But there is, a certain kind of the limitation to that, what he can do or not. He has to follow also the monastic code. That it's the monastic code is not subject to an individual person's decision. It's a collective decision also, and then also, it follows a specific kind of the code, and that is having the unbroken lineage also. So in Tibet, although this tradition never took place, but nonetheless, there are some other places, like in China or Taiwan, they do ordained nuns as fully ordained nuns, that are following some another part of the Dharmagupta lineage of the monastic code. And then but then there are also some disputes that whether that lineage really has been kind of unbroken throughout the centuries, or there's some there are some who feel that it was interrupted also. But anyway, this is where still it's being kind of investigated, explored, and if there is an unbroken lineage, it's not necessary that the Tibetan nuns need to receive the ordination only through Sarvastivada tradition. They can receive from through the Dharmagupta lineage of the Vinaya as well. In fact, some nuns actually have been doing that, that receiving in the Chinese tradition, where that follows the Dharmagupta Vinaya tradition. Yes?
So I had a question back to the introduction, and I was just curious what personally, as an abbot that brought about the inclusion of the sciences in the curriculum, what it was about the sciences that sparked his personal interest or his mind that compelled him to advocate for such a huge change. And then I was curious what his vision or what he hopes that will bring to the monastic tradition. And I also understand that maybe you're not supposed to ask Buddhist scholars about their expectations of things, but I'm just curious if he has a vision or an outcome that he would love to see.
And that when Gondekala, the Dingduki Sendiki Lumniati Gotubarwala, Chatan the Negatola in a Penakan gang Kanabuchi in backup the Vaniani, that what Sendiki Lupti, Chick. That Gondekala, Zuela, that Yapkirtan to Snai or what. They did not go at the Khensur Rinpoche could get Kitoni Chashina, getting Haresix, getting Haresix songs, Sendik, the Kilomia Gondekala Zukoyata. And then the naked super tiki can't chene, Mombala chick that chick Debus or Masona, Karet, that Ture Karekungus.
And then the Seri Chatang Zambuling Nola, Peggy Seri Digi, Chen, Peggy Yaji, Shuchamudogares. Shuchamudogares, Detan Churchy, Mazatana de Gondekalo, Peggy Lone Chendia, Peggy Tobasanji Chonden Digi, Sumshag, Nambi Chise, the Sotande. Seri Tan, Deni Tumbuji Leum. Tumble the carriers, the Seri Brigade do Sana Tang, 시주제는 내 슈구때 가려용도 내 슈구때 가려용도 탑비네 산다는 추치기 돈 도서제 제거해서 단단 가서 거대 칸을 로자쟁에도 저기 리피긴 리제네 따제라다 지금 세계도 쓰는 샤고야 말해 이 그때 가르래 이단 가르래 이 그때 조셉 거셔스 이때 있는 이 급이 쳐봐 가르래 근데 이제 리제는 또 땅다 세리는 또 땅인데 배 잠을리는 처시지 내용을 와서 마음빨 아니 세리 아직 로나게 남비기 치디 아직 땡땡 로로 와서 네는 군이 텀보 요래서 텀보인데 지도 집회 요래서 지도 집회 요당 가르서 되가라 나서 뒤태게 돈도 세히주 제도가 패체 남비기 치는 데나 히 사법 패체 커버를 주치요 말해 뒤태게 돈을 패 히부직 패 히주 제는 패띵 사부지 텅여 야 산땅땅 거 토로 세리바게 베게 주고 토로 베게 양시 제바 마도 시바땅 나게 세게 토로 양시 제야도 가보여래 데 빠져는 진 짜게요 말해 마타 얘기 기 시바게 리치 더서 가데 세리발레 로브 팽이요 콘제 야 내가 요구도 상다데 걸 내가 일레 요구도 때 가르래 주마로와 아니 시바레 생겨서 단다 시바레서 킬랭게 요메 마도 가다 시바 생기지 요 주마잉이 요 희우데 세리바게 리파다다 남이 치근을 리파니데 지도지 보던 거를 왜 아주 전문로 그래서 나라 선수였다가 군 야르면 제게 군시다가 그래서
My conviction in the benefit of introducing modern science in the monasteries comes from this belief, that, this understanding that the modern science, the way that modern science approaches its subject, and Buddhism approaches its inquiry, are very similar. That because the modern science it's very advanced, the understanding of many domains of our kind of the world today, when it comes to particularly in the physical world, the advanced understanding of, but let's take like the when it comes to the understanding about the atomic or the subatomic aspect of our physical world, that it has arrived at a very advanced understanding, but that has come through a very careful analysis, not just simply by the belief or somebody's, following somebody's assertions, but rather systematically and carefully examining. The same thing is true of Buddhism. The Buddhist tradition also doesn't simply kind of maintains its position by somebody has said that, but rather, it gives its premium kind of the, emphasis to inquiry, to examine that how and why, that how does that work, why, particularly when it comes to inner domain, within the field of our mind and emotions, how do this work, and that's where that kind of perhaps what we can see is the two of these kind of trends of knowledge can complement each other, because each one has a lot to contribute to each other, has dedicated many centuries refining kind of their understanding, one in the physical world, one in the the inner domain. And my hope is that through kind of integration of the modern science into the monastic education, where the monks and nuns are actually studying, they immerse also into their own traditional kind of modes of inquiry and learning, that this can lead to a more kind of holistic understanding of human condition. So through that, it can only benefit the humanity. So His Holiness the Dalai Lama, firmly believes in that, and I too have, I too deeply believe in His Holiness's vision, but also, that I personally also I believe that there is much for this tradition to learn from each other. One more question?
Well, being a woman, of course, I'm very interested in how Buddhism actually considers the contribution of women. And given that we are all incarnated at some point or another as a mother, and given the dominance or the respect for the mother-child relationship as the basic model of compassion, I wonder whether that has somehow a cultural place. I noticed that most of the reincarnations go through the male lineage, and of course there must have been women that carried or were a reincarnation of some very wise previous entity spirit. And I wonder whether the fact that there don't seem to be too many references to women, whether that is just a cultural tradition that grew based on the history of Tibetan Buddhism, or whether there is any, whether that's part of inherent in Buddhism, that the contribution of women is mainly just restricted to being mothers, rather than contributing a very wise, thoughtful, rational insight to the religion.
Nanda amati gechimbo shujimbo sonarwal the marshet the bet amati tsachimbo shuje chedan di yinde tamba konangi kandishu yadi pepe chik chiso senata nangbe tacho ne cheba da thapati pyoki nangbe ane chiso ki tacho ne cheba yena ane de tat chedan amati bet gechimbo shuje ane pugu the chundune salon chea tan to samala ama mena mero to chati gore ani daga na shepena bebe chito nalo laka lama tube kula sopatene mambo yo bate tueta ko ame khobala salon che junga to sravas chedan di dine de so gechimbo shembate cheka nene getane amat chitsa chemo yembate gechemo yembate de sevo reshas ta yena de mo kande shuyate kharishna de pepe chito nalo le ati lama tubeko pimo kemer gidi deshirana thoya mi doas lama tubeko tene pime tuko tene shira thoya mi doas jada dene te mebati anche ko chocho rangi chu ti nangcho langcho gi thone anche pime sete ta ko chi shamba pugu chalon che ta pugu la ta ko kya mato anche chocho ne chi lopchon che ne toba compare to ya ta tenela nepati ani keba podan tanda mewa suru tsigyo rewe dene ki thone rewe adi ko chik mi chizo ki ta kan chik rikshun ko mi chizo kawai na ta cheta te keba pomala ta tes inje tus nyamane yongde go arwa ta chocho ki maimba chik
re
thone imba yena ya chik chocho ram ki thone cheba ya beme te tes chik ko neba shamba suru tene chik
가르쳐서 그러와. 저다 단단데 주비고 배명이 나를 요 말에서 두고 말해서 사대 판번 생각에 나서 지요래. 단단 쉬우면 심하서 봐도 배매리 제대로 싸지 뭐 사대 판번 생각하는데 아무튼 배우지 나도 쉬우면 파페네. 비기 쉬우면 심하서 대 주비고 싸지 버려서 배매리 단단 가서 주비고 저서 용도들 강들 선의지 슈타체 냥시지 데네지 제리야야 로나네 데 구마존도 양시리에서야지 현이 그 요리스 이거나 단단 가서 안에서 가데 로장 좀 가병만 로장 지기 요리 로장 지니 도바처럼 되게 대처처럼 도그래서 로네 구마를 조선나 konse 양시 여기로 와서 이거 뭐 줬어야 민도 와서 이거 내 얘네들 내들이 챙겨두스
Losel. Then that is Alamaya, the Rishungi Matu Chugi, Nang Chugi, dupte thone ta tene ke inge marwa tanta patu ko ki
매매 단나가 저때 고라세 소장제는 다 다른 누구로 왔다. 다 다른데 뭐만 요마로 미스kel 때게 고라서는 종가병을 소장도 도서 돼야긴 루스도 전에 요마로 와. 내가 제제 맨로스 남비치 추초로 이제 맨로스 아 대내는 때 되게 도서 배나 튜브고 강가데 야 연대 체를 연대 체를 아니 되게 양 시리즈 하는 중에 이제 제게 장자 레샤스 이디 단다 자르면 제게 종가병을 소장제 저거들 대셔요 건설 소장제 야르 또바도부터는 네 저알랭 어디 가나 양신도 요새로 왔어. 너무 좋아서 도 왔어. 내가 맨로스.
다 남배추 랑기 치터네 제와네 김에 대 상계야 되네 여러와.
여자이 여러. 단다 지저 도마다 뜻 강한데 남배추 또 사지 저러 하면도. 바델 하면도 사지리 이제 사저반이 있어게요다.
So the difference that you see currently is definitely not it's rooted in the Buddhist stance. It's a cultural. Because you see that in the Buddhist tradition we have female Buddhas. You see, they're like the Aryatara and the various, even in the human form. I mean, it's like even just lately that there was a very very renowned female tulku known as Samten Pakmo. That Khensur Rinpoche is not sure that whether she is still alive or not. She was in Tibet. Like that. So likewise, there are other Kandomas and like that. Like that. There have been actually throughout Tibetan history. There have been some very important female teachers, female spiritual masters. Actually, that recently a book was written by one of the great Tibetan scholars, Daya Rinpoche. There's a whole section there. It lists just dozens and dozens of great female yoginis and practitioners and masters in old Tibet. So it's definitely not from a religious kind of. It's not a from a Buddhist some kind of Buddhist philosophy or the Buddhist stance. The culture, I mean, the human cultures have, for most part, have been very much kind of the bias towards the, the male dominance, and that's Tibet in some ways, even though not as extreme, but you can see reflected that in. But like the most important part to see is think what is now. That what is happening now. Like the thanks to His Holiness, as I mentioned, that now particularly the female, like the nuns, are studying and they're receiving geshe degrees and like that. This tulku reincarnation idea is, technically speaking, that someone who has achieved it, enough of the inner kind of accomplishment, spiritual accomplishment, that they are able to set course of their life in the future. So, among the female as they have been passed, that certainly now you can see that they will emerge as great masters, great teachers, and there is no reason that they will not reincarnate as reincarnated masters.
조소 안디스 야는 네 계셔시 디소 야야 당가서 뒤서 조리에서도 내가 사지지 아니 지나서면에 비 지진수비 군리전데 해라게 배연들에 지나서 강을 배연 대처물 장자래 나 라게 지금 지나서럽지 리게는 저야 그거 중요해 해라게 가보죠 터치색는 도시였어.
So we have, come to the conclusion of this session, and in conclusion, I just want to say that you have come from such great distance to visit our community here and to spend some time, perhaps to learn. But you all are very learned. You have great knowledge. But to invite me, an old monk, today to say a few words, I'm humbled, and and also appreciate the time, and thank you for the opportunity.